I am so excited to be here talking with you guys about these ideas today. Why are these the biggest ideas that humanity has ever seen? Bigger than Q, whether you think that's a thing or not. It's a big idea. Perhaps one of the biggest we've ever seen. These are revolutionary times, to be sure. Everything is changing really fast. Information revolution, what does it all mean? What is going on? WorldVoice is a term, like all humble signposts, like words are, that was coined, and I want to give you a few examples. And, I'm so excited to talk about this stuff. Let's skip our introductions and all that jazz and do that at the end. And instead jump right to it. WTF is WorldVoice? Well, burgeoning, newfound effectiveness in social movements, really humanity collaborating and working as individuals around the world in all kinds of ways, all our capacities burgeoning, especially with respect to social movements and initiatives. As of late, our efficacy burgeoning. That's what we're talking about. It's compounding, almost. And of course, a lot of people are trying to harness these capacities and technologies and whatnot. There's a famous quote that some of you might be familiar with called, that goes something like, "The medium is the message." With respect to radio and TV, that I believe are part of these revolutions we're talking about, but industries that were quickly regulated. Hence the internet freedoms discussion. But that's another story. So let's dig into WorldVoice. It's the burgeoning effectiveness and efficacy of these things. WorldVoice is defined as the world speaking in relative unity, with principles that dissolve censorship, oppression, and crime. Over these past 20-odd years, we've been seeing early introductions to better ways of being, deciding, governing. Let's go over 4 examples of WorldVoice and its epic transmutation or transformative capacity. First, I want you to think about, in the internet age, we'll just talk about that for now, Wikipedia as the first major lesson that WorldVoice taught the world. It was a corporate lesson mainly. And the second lesson was a political one, the defeat of SOPA and PIPA at the hands of Aaron Swartz and all those around the world who gave a damn. That was a big thing. Less than 24-hour Senate reversal, precedent setting, political defeat at the hands of WorldVoice. Now rise, number 3, and power of the new media, alternative media, in the marketplace of ideas, routing around censorship and treating it like the malfunction it is, referencing the Doug Gilmour's famous quote about the internet. Can you see WorldVoice evolving here? And then finally, the final example we're going to give is Q. Now, when talking about Q, this is a part of our title. And this isn't clickbait, because this is taking these ideas and looking at them in a different way. I haven't heard people describe the Q phenomenon and examine it in this way per se at all. And this is what we do here. So buckle up. Because WorldVoice, in fact, maybe one other quick idea I'll share with you. I want you guys to think about one other important lens, critical lens, to help you understand WorldVoice. So we are, in my humble opinion, in the midst of the 3rd ever information revolution. And that supersedes all other forms of revolution and innovation and, industrial, whatever, political, social, cultural. Information is, I believe, the biggest and bedrock of all this sort of Promethean, the word, all these kinds of things. You look at writing and then the book, Gutenberg. Now listen, writing, first of all. How many people can write? Can everybody write? Can everybody read? how good are all the writers? Right? Have we fully unleashed human potential in these ways? No. No, we're really great at talking. We're not as good at writing, but we've been doing it for a very long time, and the books have been, made major changes, just leaflets throwing around, European 11, a dozen countries or so. Some say gave birth to the, excuse me, is what, gave birth to the Enlightenment. But in any event, let's not digress. The point is that this third ever information revolution is what everybody should be talking about. I don't understand, we need to focus on the world in this way, and let me make it clear why. Because unlike writing alone and books alone, this information revolution that began with radio and TV per se, perhaps, and then this internet, what this is doing is not just unleashing information in the Aquarian age of, all secrets revealed and, uncensored, as we say, Doug Gilmore running around that censorship, just all raw data and information being made available. Now that's, there's a lot of big, huge, hot discussion about data and who's using it and who owns it and blah, blah, blah. And I know that's not all fixed out yet. It's not as though we have full access to that. But of course, these are the issues, right? Back to medium is the message. So what is really going on here is something so much more exponentially powerful than ever before. This information revolution is unleashing not just raw information, but our creativity, secondly. And thirdly, our collaborative capacities. Now, it used to, have to have millions of dollars, know some friends, whatever, to get your ideas, inventions, make money, get your ideas out there. Now, of course, the price of books, the publishing industries, all these things, locked up, radio, TV, like we talked about. All these barriers are gone now to creativity as an individual and collaboratively. What can we do? Now, there's a lot going on here. We coined a term called collaborative institution just to talk about how it's defined as how SOP, standard operating procedure in private practice as well as our personal lives, is changing at the behest of this information revolution. But, specifically collaborative institution is about how we institutionalize around our goals, whether that's for profit or not. But again, let's not sidetrack. We got 6 years of very polished work to present to you in tight pieces, and WorldVoice is one tiny element. I want this video to be short, and I want you to understand what WorldVoice is. It's just a humble language. Maybe the world will like it, maybe they won't. They can reinvent it if they want to. But we're, I'm a humble wordsmith, and there you are. It's a term. It's defined as humanity rising in relative unity around principles, right, that dissolve censorship, oppression, and crime. This is happening. It's happening every day. You can see it in the Q. Now, Q, again, is a much more evolved. I want to just bring up an image. You can see the Incite here. I want to bring up another image for us all. Here's a great image. Great title to a meme I found in the Q meme drops. The greatest military operation intelligence in world history. Interesting. Quite true. If it's, at any level, whether it's, it's truly what it claims to be or not, it is a collaborative effort of people and institutions and platforms and individuals, groups, in ways that have never happened before on a more sophisticated level than we have ever yet seen. The autists of the internet, everybody, the left, the right, everybody is connected into this in a lot of interesting ways. Now, the Reddits, the 4chans, all these things. Now, let's just quickly bring this one up for y'all, just to think about us a little bit there. Incite, working at the intersection of thought and action. Now these are WorldVoice. Well, we don't want to own this. We're not trying to be, the next Google or anything like that, in terms of a corporate owner of things that are meant to be universal. But that's what we're talking about here. WorldVoice is universal, uncensored, unstoppable. It is applying itself to all aspects of life very slowly. But watch it pick up pace, boy. I have for the last 10, 15, 20 odd years. This has been my life's work. We're going to introduce initiatives that are partnerships between, for private institutions, for profit like ourselves, and other open-sourced initiatives, decentralized initiatives, and organizations, not-for-profits. Again, that's housed within the term collaborative institution, is how a lot of that stuff takes place. I don't want to get in the weeds with that. But the point is, I want you to think big. These are the biggest ideas humanity has ever had. So, what's the biggest one that comes to mind when you think about a dream? I had a dream, said Martin Luther. So emancipation, that was a pretty big step. What about going to the moon? That was another big step. That was a pretty big global dream that was had in a very same way as emancipation. And maybe on a grander scale, who knows? People that maybe believe, were okay with slavery might have been interested in going to the moon. I don't know. Either way, the point is that dream to me seemed, in my heart of hearts, like the biggest shared global dream that we've had so far. But these dreams shatter those. They're bigger. They're way more powerful. And everybody participates and profits, whether you've got an internet connection or not. However, the people with anybody with an internet connection is right on the front lines. So buckle up, Bucko and Sally, whatever. So, okay. Let's dig in to a couple of closing pieces. I just want to introduce a couple of pieces of what that is. There's hashtag WorldOp Unite, which is bringing WorldVoice into its fullest forms more quickly, because these things are happening whether I'm talking about it or not. I'm probably not the only person talking about it, but I haven't found anybody talking about it the ways that my partner and I have for the last 6 years. So, and that's maybe okay. So there's a book that we put out, huge book, big 130,000 plus words on the spectrum of human experience. And here it is, right there on the screen, the table of contents. I'm going to pull this up a little bigger for us, see if I can figure out how to do that. There we go. Okay, so now you can see that. So here's the table of contents. Now, it's a little bit boring. I didn't make the chapters exciting, but they're big topics, and what's exciting is inside, and 300 plus quotes, 600 plus references. This PDF is great because there's all live links, and when you can see at the bottom of every page, all those things. Great stuff, great stuff. Now, Freedom Handbook. Okay, that's your title. And another, look at that. No government, no problem. That's a little bit of a joke and a secret between my partner and I. It was the second working title. Here's the paperback. I mean, I took the jacket off the heart so you can see how nice that blue is, and in the moment, although I'm sure that'll change. And there's a nice paperback. Still a venerable weapon under duress, I suppose. So that's that. There's all kinds of fun stuff. I mean, there's fashion, all kinds of stuff. I felt, now there's all, truth fashion, or just, I think when it comes to fashion being an art form and a way to, speak not just about color and things, which is fun as heck, but also, adding our views, our ideas, our personalities, our characters in other fun ways. Not just in terms of an aesthetic, but perhaps maybe with words, which is the thing I do. This is boy, we're going to have some fun in fashion. But here's some old designs, and there's, you can see this is super fun. That's the old quote, Tupac, whoever did that. You can see that file maybe a little bit better like that. There you go, realize. Oh, that's right. Let's make this bigger and show you guys a couple of other cool things. Okay, so the book. Okay, so there you go, right? There's the Freedom Handbook. You guys should all go get yourselves a free copy of that digital version, and if you like us or whatever, then buy a paper copy, and that's a great way to support us. Now, there's the next things we're going to share with you, hashtag, like I said, these big, huge platforms, okay? Look, there's, again, open source stuff and not-for-profit stuff, and then there's private stuff that people can get involved with, and so on. There's not, again, it's not all us. We're just, I think a lot of the coolest people and initiatives on the planet, for example, in the social arena and these kinds of things. You're talking the Minds, the Gabs, the Steemits, and all those kinds of folks. Collaborative stuff, tying a lot of these, the best of these things that are already going on together, and building, global tools that are, another step beyond that, their complexity in the way that we tie these things together. Now listen, the way that, maybe perhaps if you're not aware, these tools and technologies, again, we're just talking about using the things that exist for the betterment of humanity instead of the NSA and Google stealing it all. Or Lexus, for example, for the media industry. That they were innovating, the IT for journalism in 1978 when I was born. I'm 40, as we speak here. So, okay. Hashtag WorldVoice, World Op Unite. Okay? And I don't know if I got those hashtags. There we go. There we go. Okay, so here we can see Incite. You're watching what? Unleashing Human Potential. Boom! This is the new channel. Okay, so I'm so excited and confused. But this is my first attempt, and I might just run with it because we got a lot to do. And shoot here. We got 3 channels launching right away. A 4th right any second. I'm going to show you those in a second, but here they are as well in one sense. I'm going to show you them on YouTube so you can see what they look like just briefly. Unleashing Human Potential is what you're watching, and that's where we do a lot of all of our work, for profit and not. And then the 2 other channels, Incite's 2 other video channels up there in your top right. Freeing Me, that's my own personal channel, Unlocking Your Potential Through Personal Development and Healing Past Trauma. I'm an ace, 8 to 10, and a crazy cat who shares his big 5 in the debut program score there. You can go check it out. Now, Luke's big 5 and his personality is on full display at R for F, Responsibility for Freedom. Luke Denny, my partner, I tell you, for 6 years, the coolest cat, coolest best friend in a lot of ways, and certainly the most enjoyable working partner that I've ever had as a person who's, a serial entrepreneur and worked on my own for most of my life. So, in any event, great guy. You're going to enjoy his channel, Responsibility for Freedom. Check it out. Those are thought-provoking, extreme, wild, fun, fascinating conversations along the spectrum. Again, a human experience, really. He inspired the book. He, hired me as a writer to help him put it together, and we just, that's another story. So backstory of the book is other places. A lot of our other work in other places. There's 2 channels to check it out. Again, let's go back to these hashtags and WorldVoice, because that's what this video is. Universal, uncensored, unstoppable projects, platforms, initiatives, technology across all industries, starting with what? Information, of course, right? Security, technology, economy, key things, right? But quickly, eat. How, first thing people do when you put too much pressure on them and things become too centralized in human history. What happens when communities really start to suffer and people start to starve? Boom, they start to, reorganize themselves and feed themselves and garden and farm and do things differently. So World Up Eat, hashtag, that's, we do that instinctually. And look at food. Food is one of the coolest studies and case studies in the world in that sense, and that there's a big push for organic and stuff. Why? Because we demanded it. Otherwise, of course, I don't think we would even have what we have in terms of the best still natural available food on the planet. So the second is hashtag World Op Ed. Pretty easy. Education. Oh boy, that's a fun one. Let's not trip ourselves up and get off topic. World Op Unite. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, there we go. Those are the three. That's all I'm sharing today. There's tons more. There's another 5 or 3 or 4 real key ones to come right away that we'll talk about in another video. But that's a taste of some nonprofit initiatives that are global, that are connecting a lot of the not-for-profit stuff, the open source stuff, the decentralized stuff, as well with, in new ways, private for-profit initiatives that are unleashing human potential. Okay? Great language. Neutral. It's part of our work here, you'll note, trying to deprogram some Orwellian doublespeak as best we can. Net neutrality, for example, we're going to talk about in these days, was, Ambassador Day's term. We've replaced it with internet freedoms as the way that we discuss that. Change makers is a term that we apply to not only WorldVoice, but the entire world of all the coolest people working to unleash human potential in any way, shape, or form, whatever industry. Change makers, fun term. You'll find a lot of that here. So UHP, the professional work, those other channels, and I suppose a final intro. Obviously, I guess there's enough about me in here in a general sense. My name is Chris Hampton. I'm sorry. It hardly matters, but at this stage. But my name is Chris Hampton. The work has been a lifetime without sounding trite, like I say again. There's just tons and tons here. I invite you to check out the next couple of videos coming out are unbelievable. They're going to unveil the biggest projects. I mean, the World Op Eat, the World Op Ed, those are global, open-sourced, not-for-profit. That sometimes, as you know, moves a little slower in different ways. But when you talk about the private sector, this is where we get exciting, folks. This is where we move we can move as fast as the world moves, which is pretty bloody fast these days, right? Right. Okay. So, WOVO. WOVO is a global consortium birthed by Incite as a short form for, consortium and way for us to embody some of these activities ourselves personally in our own humble way. We're just a node, remember. Is a great way to look at these initiatives. So what I'm going to describe to you isn't meant for us to own the whole thing, but it's a node, the most, maybe a co-founding important one, mind you, but still, just a piece. And these ideas, of course, aren't ours either. We stole them all, like any good artist will tell you, from all of human history, and all the best to you alive. Thank you for inspiring us in our own way. So here, now, news. Let's build a news platform. Okay, let's not get into it, how and what it is, but that's the next video. The video after that, let's fix information. And information isn't just raw data and all the things that Google and NSA. We're talking history, art, Google, the internet, the way that we organize and look at it. Again, back to Nexus and I guess some of those alphabet soup agencies. How do we play with that, folks? Okay, think real big as it gets. That's right. Okay, so news, very small and easy. Let's deal with that, right? All the world's news. Fix that and make that more readily available, sortable, usable, engageable, all those things. Now, okay, I wasn't supposed to go into it at all, but the news, the information, advertising. How about the advertising industry? And then you're starting to breach and talk about economy now and agora types of things. So that's enough of a taste. Those are the next couple of videos coming out. Go check them out. We're going to try and keep these short. From UHP, from Incite, from WOVO, from every single person, please, a shout out to every last person that has helped this project. There's dozens of you people who have all contributed work and art and ideas and hours and countless hours of sweat and blood and tears, and thank you. So, excuse me, without further ado, Enjoy yourselves wherever this message has found you, whenever it has found you, and enjoy the rest of the work, because, boy, it's a whole lot better than this tiny taste. Thanks. See you next time.